What's up, everybody? Tottenville Legend 826 here. I wanted to talk about the last episode of Riverdale. I think it was chapter 72, To Die For. Yeah, so in my opinion, it was a pretty good episode, where, Jughead was supposedly dead because, they found his body in the morgue, supposedly, and they identified it was him. And then, they were setting up a funeral. Alice was making a documentary, about Jughead's murder, and then she was, interviewing others about it. She was interviewing Betty. I think she interviewed, maybe Veronica, Cheryl and Tony. So, yeah. Donna, it's told FP that, that Betty, Archie, and Veronica were the ones who murdered Jughead. So FP ends up arresting them, which it would make you wonder, why would FP murder Jughead's best friends? I mean, they would never murder him. And why would he trust Donna, Because considering the history that Jughead has had with Stonewall Prep. But anyways, FP arrested all of them. They were in the prison cell, and the parents tried to defend their respective children. Hyrum was defending Veronica. That might be a surprise. Mary told Archie to keep silent when FP was interrogating him. And as for Betty, Alice told Betty that, I think she said something like, "I know you did it," or something. And, because, Dark Betty and her rage and everything. Even though Betty would never have done that intentionally. But anyways, yeah. So anyways, we all know in the previous episode, Betty and Charles, switched the two rocks. The one with the blood on it, they think it was Jughead's blood. And the other rock, which is a fake, they switched the rocks so that, FP checked the rock, and it turns out that it, that you could see that it wasn't Jughead's blood. It didn't match the DNA of Jughead's blood. So then all three of them were released. And they plan a funeral for Jughead. They had a funeral, but Donna and Brett, of course, show up with the other Stonewall students, and then Donna has this theory that Jughead isn't really dead, that he faked his death, so she starts asking other people. She starts disrupting the funeral, disturbing the peace. I think she walked up to Jellybean and asked her about this, and Betty, of course, that was enough for Betty, so Betty had them all thrown out, and we saw Sweet Pea again. We were wondering where Sweet Pea was, because he didn't appear in one episode in season 4 up until then. It's finally good to see him again, And, and then there was a, really funny part of the interview where, Alice was asking Cheryl about how she felt about Jughead's death, and Cheryl said she was sorry about calling Jughead a hobo, and then she repeated that sentence again, so that was pretty hilarious, in my opinion. That's just how I view it as. And then, Hyrum and FP were talking during the funeral, and FP, of course, told Hyrum that he quit, because we all know Hyrum, he's, a dick, He clearly treats everyone terribly just to satisfy his own selfish, monetary gain, exploiting the pain of others, using it for his own benefit to take over Riverdale. And, of course, FP, we all knew FP wasn't going to work for Hyrum forever. Eventually, he would quit, because it's just, come on, who wants to work for Hyrum Lodge? Okay, there's no good benefit coming out of all of it. You're just gonna hate the job, in the long run. So, anyways, Archie, Betty, and Veronica, their names were cleared, but Donna and Brett, of course, are still up to no good, And then, Cheryl was offering condolences to Betty and everything, because Jughead's death spread around, and then they started having a tribute for Jughead. They laid flowers for him. And then Betty and Archie went to the music room, and they kissed. Barchie took place, supposedly. Now, I'm saying supposedly because I'm going to tell you what happened later in the episode. I don't want to give away any spoiler alerts, but then again, if you haven't seen the episode yet, don't watch my videos. You watch the episode first, and then come on here, so don't yell at me if you see any spoilers on here. So anyway, Betty and Archie kissed, and then Cheryl, of course, was right there, and being the loving drama, Cheryl immediately takes a photo of Betty and Archie, then sends it to every person in the school through a group chat, and then she shows it to Veronica, and then Veronica goes on this tirade, yelling at Archie and Betty, and she mentions Archie's previous relationships with Josie, and Miss Grundy. Oh, man, the last one, Miss Grundy was, that relationship was completely disgusting, But anyways, that's the past. Let's move on. So anyways, Veronica then said to go to hell, and she called Betty a bitch. So, yeah, that was pretty funny. So anyways, yeah, so Betty and Archie were supposedly in a relationship, because Betty supposedly moved on after Jughead's death and everything, and Betty and Archie, Because, I mean, I don't ship Betty and Archie personally, because I think that Betty and Jughead, as well as Archie and Veronica, those two relationships suffered so much, especially during seasons 2 and 3. I think they really got the worst of it in season 3 with Archie getting sent to prison, because Hyrum wanted to separate Archie and Veronica. I mean, clearly, we all know that they've suffered enough. I don't ship Betty and Archie personally, because maybe season 1 they might have shipped them a little bit, because Betty had feelings for Archie, but that was a long time ago. And anyways, Archie is clearly better off with Veronica and Betty with Jughead, and I'm sure a lot of other fans feel the same way. But that's just how I view it as. I don't expect everybody to agree with me, but anyways. So Betty and Archie were in the bed, in the bunker, Jughead's bunker, and then Donna breaks in, and then she ends up finding Betty and Archie. It's really an obsessive behavior, it seems, because Donna was calling Betty. Donna approached Betty in her office. I mean, Donna was, really trying to snoop through she was really, snooping through everything she could, trying to find out if Jughead was really dead or alive. Seemingly an obsession. Donna, of course, didn't want to be outsmarted here by Betty. And then she noticed that there were 3 milkshakes, of Pops, with Betty, because there was only 2 of them, Betty and Archie, in that bunker in the same bed. So then she told Brett about this. Brett, of course, tried to tell Donna to let it go, and then Donna slapped Brett across the face, and then it really shows you that Donna was probably the true villain in this story, maybe not Brett. Because Brett's been an arrogant asshole. He's always been like this. He's insulted Jughead. He's said so many degrading comments about Jughead and his friends, Archie, Betty, Veronica. He's acted condescending. He framed Betty for cheating. He's literally done everything to be the ultimate villain here. But everybody was so focused on Brett that hardly anybody was focusing on Donna. Most of the fans were focusing their attention on Brett and how what an antagonist he was, that nobody noticed that Donna was also doing her own things as well, having her own part in this whole scheme. And then Donna admittedly says with her own words, with her own mouth, that she was the brains of this operation and the mastermind. And then she said, may Jonathan rest in peace. Seeming to indicate they might have killed Jonathan instead of Jughead. That's what she says anyways. We don't know for sure. Because, in Riverdale, everyone, people die, and then, or supposedly they say they die, and all of a sudden they end up coming up being alive a couple of episodes later without any bodies being shown. I mean, this is Riverdale. This is, nothing new. It's like a tradition. I guess people in Riverdale just love faking their deaths. Anyways, Betty is in the bunker, and then Jughead appears. Surprise! Jughead is not dead. He faked his death. I think we all knew that Jughead wasn't really dead. So anyways, Jughead and Veronica were talking, about him faking his death and everything. And, I think Betty and Archie were texting each other because, they, all about the whole, the kiss thing and pretending to be in a relationship and everything. And then Jughead and Veronica both asked Betty and Archie how they felt about the other, like they were really in love with each other. And Betty and Archie didn't directly answer the question, but they said, "You're the only one for me." They never said yes or no directly. Betty and Archie might be good friends, and I have no problem with that. But, I mean, relationship-wise, I really hope they don't do that, because I'll just make everything they've been through look pretty wasted. I mean, we all know Barchi is not endgame. I mean, maybe they are for some people, and I'm not going to argue with you if it is. Maybe it is true, but that's just how I view it as. So anyways, and then Alice is doing her documentary, and she interviews the 3 teens about them faking the death. So it turns out that some of the parents were also in on this as well. I think Mary was in on it. I think FP knew about this. Alice knew about this. They had an entire plot going on of Jughead faking his death. Pretty well done. For a moment I thought they really had me. I thought he really was dead and that he really was gonna die. They really had me there. I was spooked. So anyways, Jughead finds a secret about Donna at the very end of the episode, and he says it might help them. We don't know what it is, though, because it might be revealed in the next episode. In the promo, Jughead is shown walking into the classroom, and then Donna says, "I know you weren't really dead," and then he starts talking about the story and what happened, so that's something I'm really looking forward to seeing. But anyways, those are my thoughts about Riverdale Season 4, Episode 15, I think? Yeah, Episode 15, Chapter 72, To Die For. And those are my thoughts. Tonville Legend, 826 out.